Hey, welcome to the show. You are listening to the Roosic podcast. We are a roots music podcast based out of Nashville, Tennessee, where we talk to the local music scene and beyond.
Today we have Lucas Eason. He is a songwriter here in Nashville and a real cool guy.
Check it out. It's a nice
when I
way to
sleep, I
detach.
turn my phone on airplane mode like half the time.
I'll put it on do not. Yeah, I'll put it on do not disturb whenever I go to sleep.
I'm like, I don't want to answer. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
that I can.
I've been just practicing just like leaving my phone, just not taking it with me places.
I need to do that.
It makes a difference, dude. Like, you know, you're in line at the grocery store, you might like look at your phone for like,
Yeah.
90 seconds, but like that, it seems like, oh, it's just 90 seconds, but like you are losing something by constantly filling your mind up with shit every chance you get. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I think it's healthy to just have nothing. You're just forced to be with your own
makes you- it
thoughts.
honestly- I think
Between
it's-
TikTok, go ahead.
Especially as a creative person.
Yeah,
but-
I think it does. It exercises that part. I think that part of your brain that is creative kind of needs that void. Sometimes.
100%.
I really think it does.
You can't constantly, like, because otherwise you just fill your mind up with shit and there's no room left for your brain to create something for
You can't
itself.
breathe.
It's already
Yeah.
full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What-
like
you know?
between Instagram and TikTok, you're just like. And
And
it's like,
it
you
feels
just
like
got-
it
you
feels
have
like
to
a
stop
room.
sometimes.
It feels like your attention is almost like a room that if you're constantly filling it up with shit from your phone, it's like that box is always full. You know,
Yes.
like there's no
Totally.
space in there to be
I've never heard
creative.
anybody
And
explain it that way, but that's like
creativity,
that.
I feel like
hits the nail on the
comes out
head.
of boredom, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Yeah.
like that, otherwise why would anybody be creative? Like, people are creative because they have nothing, so they have to create something.
Totally.
If you always have something, you never have a need to create anything, so like it kind of just kills your creativity.
But then I also feel like, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, because I don't know why this is, but there's certain things like, I definitely think sitting on your phone or just scrolling on, your computer or something like that, it takes away from that. It fills it up with the sort of useless space, right? But I think like I'll read before I go to bed, or whenever I have 5 minutes, I'll whip out my Kindle, and just like. Or if I'm seriously listening to music, or there are things that you can still do that for whatever reason, yes, it's taking up your time and attention, but it doesn't feel like it's filling up that room
With a
like,
bunch of just
useless
bullshit.
shit. Yeah, exactly. Like, it
Well,
feels
I
like it's
think-
exercising it in some way.
I think there is a difference between that type of reading and like reading on social media, because I've fallen into the trap of like, scrolling on Twitter or whatever and be like, oh, I'm reading. And it's like, dude, no, you're not.
TikTok is the worst.
When your brain is
For that.
focusing on a different thing every 10 seconds, like you're not fucking learning anything.
Yeah, no,
Whereas
it's-
like if you're reading a book or, you're focusing on one thing and there's like intent behind like,
Yeah, you get immersed in that thing, and you can see. I think
Yeah,
it's actually. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think it's like what you were saying. It's getting immersed in a novel, getting immersed in a good album. It's that same feeling in a weird way as sitting with nothing, because your brain can just kind of meditate on it. Your
Yeah,
brain can just sort of
exactly.
sit in it. Whereas if you're scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or
Your brain
Reddit
is
or whatever,
Bouncing from one thing to the next, like constantly.
Yeah, you're never
Yeah.
like experiencing anything. It's just like next thing.
I think
next thing,
I'd be
next thing.
scared to not have my phone in the supermarket. You know what I mean? Like to not be able to just go like.
But yeah, like what you were saying, like TikTok is the worst. I do feel like they're specifically in this new era of short form content, which has only really been around like 5 years. Like TikTok didn't get popular till 2019 or
Yeah,
Probably around
something
2020,
like that.
yeah.
that format. I feel like is particularly like that's another level of like just fucking people's attention spans.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I've
bad.
found myself watching half a video that I'm really interested in, and then I go to the next one, and then I go back to that video because I'm like, why did I go to the next
and
one?
you're like, what
Because
the
that
fuck
last
is
video
wrong
was
with me?
badass.
Yeah,
Like-
but it's like it's your brain is almost like subconsciously
Yeah.
like next thing, like
I think it's fine if you do it for like 10 minutes, and then you put it away, and then you put it away.
Just a little bit of heroin. Just definitely. A little bit of heroin.
But it's like if you just have, all right, I'm done.
One line won't kill me.
Like, but when you just sit there for like an hour.
Oh, dude. Yeah, like my job is really slow sometimes, and I just have nothing to do. And I've had days.
Pokemon Go, man. Pokemon Go.
I've had days where because I have nothing to do and all I have is my phone in my pocket, I'll scroll on whatever for hours and hours. And dude, like when I get off work, I will not accomplish anything. My brain is fried for the rest of the day.
Totally,
like it's done.
It's like I already did what I needed to do, but you didn't.
Yeah, well, it's just like you're bombarded with so much stimulation. Anything you try to do after that is like it's like such a lower level of stimulation that your brain will just not latch on to anything.
Yeah, I also feel like part of me is always very skeptical of that kind of thing because it's just so alien to us. I mean, especially like our generation is really that last generation of people where I think technology for us is going to be very. We're going to have a different relationship with technology our entire lives than younger people will. Just because totally. There were periods of our lives where that thing, I mean, it's the internet's been there, it's been in existence, but there was a way to kind of keep it at arm's length day to day. And I wonder, like, yes, it's sort of scary and you think, okay, well, this is terrifying that this could just be a part of being a human being. But then like you go through life and you get so accustomed to it that when like I was at a stoplight the other day and I looked over and the person in the car next to me, it was playing some music, right? And I couldn't tell what it was. And I looked over to the car and I could see like part of their screen, you know what I mean? And in my head, this is so strange, but in my head I was like, I wish I could zoom in on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what are they doing? What are they playing? Like what is that? You know? In my brain, like I wanted to do like a cell phone thing and like, move the image to like I was like, that will be a thing one day. And the fact that I even thought that, they're like, oh, it's like, insane. And it's not like it's not like I'm actually like bothered by the fact that I can't do that. But the fact that it entered my mind that if I was looking at my phone, I could fucking do that. Like, what the hell? Like no one is supposed to think like that.
Is just crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like normal to have those kind of thoughts now.
Oh yeah, it's bizarre. Especially like so I started getting on the Chat GPT train like probably like a years to
same.
And like, and it is, I mean, obviously don't get me wrong, alien or, AI is going to take over and aliens are going to be all that stuff.
I agree.
Like, just on a day-to-day, like kind of practical, pragmatic level, it's fucking great. Like,
it's amazing.
Yeah. If you can look up.
It's amazing.
It gives you answers to like everything. Yeah. I mean, I think most of the time it's right.
Well, I don't
about
even,
a lot of things.
Not even for like, but just in terms of like, just as a time saver. It's incredible.
Yeah, totally. Like it's like a really quick search engine.
Yeah, and there's so many people who are, I'm sure, like anything, you can obviously be overly dependent on something like that, where you're not actually critically thinking for yourself. But just in terms of like day-to-day usage, if you're using it for, air quotes, the right reasons, it just streamlines your
totally
as long
workflow.
as you just use it on shit that is not important to you, and
100%.
then
not
it's okay,
don't use it to write song lyrics. That's just like
then you're fucking you're done. After that, but
I always have like a hard line with like this can't enter into the creative realm whatsoever. Like to me, and I'm sure that that bridge will be crossed. I'm sure people are at varying points of that bridge at the moment. But it's like, as a creative person, I love the stuff people create. Art is my favorite thing in existence. Like other than other people, that's my favorite thing. And so to me, it's like that's a sacred thing, and I don't want that to taint it in a way. I also know that like anything, it's a tool, right? But just for myself, I have no interest in sort of crossing that Rubicon,
Totally.
But for a lot of other things, it's fucking great.
Well, like the thing I hate is like the AI artist thing.
Yeah,
I'll see people sharing. Dude. I saw somebody sharing. I've seen like multiple people I know sharing the same AI artist, like robot's name is, but to their Instagram stories, and I'm like, man. That artist is getting really popular, and it's not a real person at all.
It's kind
of crazy.
That is really wild, and I feel like that stuff is only going to get more ubiquitous. Like it's only just it's going to be just a part of. like I really think we're going to kind of siphoned off into two camps of like music that is.
I think it'll end up being better.
Oh, I agree. Totally agree. 100%.
People who actually are artists and create real music, because there will be such a demand for real art rather than just fucking AI slop.
Well, yeah, like AI couldn't create like a Jason Isbell.
Yeah.
Or like a Billie Eilish.
There's so many people that like,
you know?
Yeah.
And it's also like, it's interesting too, because I think that like, it comes down to that, I guess, fundamental question of self-awareness, of consciousness. Like, it's such a hard thing to parse out, like what that even is that you're looking for. Because obviously AI is unbelievably good at being able to replicate, at being able to understand patterns and replicate them, right? And that's that tool for day-to-day usage is incredible. But when it comes to creative tasks, like I really do wonder when it will cross that invisible line and be able to create the way that a mind creates, where there's to me, it's the closest thing to magic in life, where the human mind can go from nothing to something.
Yeah.
Like we can quite literally go from that thing that doesn't exist in the world to that thing that is now. What do I do with this? How do I form this in a way that works for it? It's the most incredible thing in the world to witness that in any form of life. I mean, this goes beyond art. This is, you can see this in architecture, you can see it in anything. But I wonder, like, I don't know if that is only innate in human beings, or if that can be, because you have to, like, I imagine that you can see that in other areas of life. I assume that like other creatures, other living things can experience that, probably in varying degrees. Like it's probably different than human creation, but there's still that idea. I'm sure you can look at a chimpanzee and it can imagine something that was not there before, or just the act of doing so. I don't know. I'm talking my ass as usual.
No, I got you though.
I wonder if how long it will take AI to be able to cross that line, to get to a point where, I just don't know.
Like, not anytime soon.
Because there's such different questions. You know what I mean? Like one is that problem solving and that computing in the way that we think of AI that's a wholly different question than whether or not it can actually create from nothing. And it's very hard to judge because I don't really even know how much overlap there is there, just in theory, that it's hard to judge how far along one is in contrast to the other, because there isn't, in my mind at least, there's not even really any through line between those two questions. They're almost completely separate ideas. You know what I mean? So it's fucking crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's a crazy world.
Think about it, like how often are humans actually even creating from nothing?
Oh, right? Never. It's like it's never in a vacuum, but it's still that.
Every once in a while, you get these rare breed of people that do something like entirely different, where it's like, whoa, where did this come from? But like most people are creating just like AI would, where it's just
true.
a collection of everything that they've been into, and they're
yeah.
Everything's coming from something else.
But I guess there is still, probably something in there that is coming purely from them. But
I would say like this, this is a stupid comparison, but like, I was showing my students this past week, I was showing a bunch of them like early rock and rollers, because I love early rock and roll. And I was trying to just like explain to them historically what was going on there with music. And I described it like soup, right? Like everyone in the country, because of the way music is distributed and the way at that point people listen to music, there was a limited way that you could listen to music, and those ways were dependent on geography, right? So like people in certain parts of the country or the country as a whole could listen to different music than if you were overseas or insert wherever. And so it's like you all have these ingredients, and these ingredients all make potato soup, let's say, right? And so everyone's making potato soup, but everyone's potato soup is going to be slightly different because of various inputs, right? So Chuck Berry's rock and roll is going to be different than Fats Domino's rock and roll, or Jerry Lee Lewis's rock and roll, or Elvis's rock and roll, or Little Richard. Like it's, and so you're all making potato soup, but but this person might be adding carrots, or maybe this person is adding peas, or maybe this person is tweaking. And that's the thing that I feel like is the creative, is that sort of creative spark in the human mind where you can take these components. It's almost more like maybe not going from nothing to something, although that does play into it. But I think it's almost more like how the human mind can assimilate different ideas together into different ways. You know what I mean? Like being able to take these ingredients and form them into something else that you wouldn't think of. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing to discuss. I digress, guys. We're done talking about potato soup. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
it makes sense.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So there's a war going on.
Yeah, let's talk about the geopolitics.
Yeah, there we go.
That's why we brought Lucas in, guys. You know? Oh yeah, no, I was saying before when you were in the other room, Brian, I was saying it's wild. It's been so long since we hung out that we've had
crazy.
multiple presidents since.
And the same one.
Yeah,
That's
same one
true,
back
yeah.
Again. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's been, yeah.
So what you been? So it's as stupid as this question is, what have you been up to, man? How is life?
Man, it's good.
Yeah.
Kind of the same, but also not at all.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still making music, writing a lot, playing a lot of drums actually recently too.
You started as a drummer, right?
Yeah, that's my first instrument.
Yeah.
So doing a lot of that. Yeah.
How's it been going back, spending more time on drums?
Dude, I love drumming. It's weird because it is my first instrument, so it's like I cannot play it for like multiple months, you know, and then just sit back down and it's like
Yeah. Brian
you
started
know.
as a drummer too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't realize that.
I never play anymore. I wanted. The problem is you have to have space for a drum set, and it's like they're so big.
and
They
they're
take up
so
like half a
loud.
room.
Yeah.
But I do own a drum set. It's back at my dad's house, and he uses it. But eventually, one day, hopefully, if I
It might be my favorite instrument to play, but I'm like a hesitant drummer at the same time because it's so much of a hassle to lug them around. But it's like I'm getting to a point where I have friends that need drummers.
I was gonna say, do you ever play for other folks around town?
Yeah, I've been playing for my buddy Dylan Wolf recently. Yeah. And then, you know, a couple other people too. Like I've done some recordings and stuff recently. But yeah, and then I play on my own stuff sometimes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay, I
like
didn't
my
know
most
that.
recent single I put out in November called Due Time. I played drums on that. So yeah, it's one of those things that I'm always like, man, I need to play more drums.
Yeah.
But also, I love
Drummers
singing and writing.
Drummers are just when people start as drummers, I really feel it your groove, your sense of time, your ability to sort of stack rhythm is so much sharper than people who don't start as drummers. I feel like it can be such a weapon to use when people do that.
And it sort of affects the way you play other instruments too, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
That's part of the reason I want to get back into it, because I feel like spending some time just playing an instrument where you're purely focused on rhythm would be so massively beneficial to like whatever you do musically.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like when I play keys, I do feel like sometimes I'm thinking like a drummer. You know?
Especially keys, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're kind of...
Yeah, when you say thing like drummer, what does that mean?
Like just rhythmically, you know, and like the way I play, like the beat's always sort of just...
Yeah.
I'm like playing on the beat almost, you know?
Yeah,
Does that make any sense?
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, even just like being aware of, it's, you see it with like,
Just like the groove.
yeah. You see it, and like, you can see it with others, with like singers too. I feel like when singers have a really good ear for rhythm, they can do, they have so much more room to play.
Yeah.
Because they can, it sounds sort of silly, but like, so many of my favorite singers are almost like trumpet players in a sense, where they can. There's just a level of improv involved, but then also you feel so comfortable with time that, you know, oftentimes I feel like singers are not that they're just recycling the rhythm, but like because so much is based around the melody, right? Because so much is based around the melody, it can feel kind of scary to step outside of that. And some singers are really great at being able to maneuver that in creative ways and keep it interesting whilst also grounding the melody. You know, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Definitely.
I would imagine a lot of vocalists just don't really spend that much time on time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
because, yeah, which I will say, I hear that a lot. Like here, you know, we have a lot of everybody, but a lot of singer-songwriters in particular. And like the number one thing I notice of like, how could this person sound better? It's like, if their time was better, they would be better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
I
they're
guess
always
if-
slightly off the beat, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you know, the difference between
I
someone with
agree.
bad and good time is like,
It's
yeah.
like bad and good intonation. I mean, it may not be like people may not be able to pick up on it as quickly. I feel like if someone's singing off key, most people's ears can pick that up faster. When somebody's singing, not necessarily like, you know, singing around the beat, because you can get ahead of the beat, you can get behind the beat. But when someone's pitchy on rhythm, people can still feel it, but I don't think they can.
They can't
it's not as
hear it.
They don't-
It's,
they
it's
don't
not
know
as-
why it
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly,
sound as good, but
exactly.
it doesn't sound as
But
good.
they're like, something's off,
yeah.
but I don't know what it is.
Who do you like? I'm just like some of my favorite singers are so good at that, at being able to like, again, like ground the melody where you feel secure. You feel like okay, like the buck stops with this guy or gal.
Yeah.
Whilst also being able to play, like that's such a hard. I mean, that's hard to do on any instrument, but like I think anyone who is taking that lead melodic role, again, like whether you're a trumpet player, saxophone player, singer, whatever, that's so hard to do, to be able to ground something in a way, but also have that fun and play with it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
when you hear someone sing in that way, it's the best. I love
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like, I can't say it's very too often where I hear a singer, I'm like, wow, this vocalist has great time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't think, yeah.
But I'm sure
It's not something I think
still
all the
does
time.
make a big difference. But yeah, I guess maybe.
Well, it's the same thing as almost like the bass player. Like, you know, the bass player doesn't play the wrong note. Everyone else does. You know what I mean? It's because it's like when something is that like fundamental as the melody, it's almost like whatever that melody is doing, everyone is fucking up around the melody. The melody isn't fucking up, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's this weird kind of like backward, this is a weird like inversion that happens in music where like, again, it's almost more, it's almost more powerful with something like bass, because the bass is so fundamental that if the bass plays the wrong note, it doesn't sound like the bass. It sounds like everything else around the bass is playing the wrong note. I almost feel like it's the same way with
Yeah,
the singer.
that's one
if a
person
singer's
that's
rhythm
doing it.
is off, or if it almost sounds like the arrangement itself isn't fitting the singer, as
Yeah.
opposed to the other way around. It's almost like a trick
Yeah.
your ear plays
Yeah.
on itself. I don't know. Work on your time, everyone.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Really. Like, there are a lot of singer-songwriters who would really fucking benefit from
You wanna call some people out?
sitting
We
with
could,
a-
I mean, yeah, we could.
fucking name names. I'm
Yeah.
not going to. But
And it's
No,
just the
honestly-
most simple
honestly, like,
thing to certain people. And then other people, they
Like-
just don't have like that
at least
inner.
at least like 50% of the people we've had on here, singer-songwriters. I swear to God. Every
Yeah.
time
Brian's
I'm
coming
like,
out
Like
swinging
super
to that.
talented people, too.
super
that-
good at what they do. And to be fair, like, you know, they're probably most of the time playing with like a really fucking good band behind them. So they, you know, it's different when they're by themselves. But like,
Yeah.
probably most of the singer-songwriters, it's like the one thing they could do to like sound way better is like get their time in order.
Yeah,
Definitely.
But I can't
100%.
imagine many songwriters are like sitting with a metronome.
They're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame them.
Yeah, and it's also like to your
But-
point, most people for whom that is their life, they're going up there with a band, right? And it is when you watch someone who can go on stage with just themselves an instrument, be it a guitar, a piano, a banjo, what have you, and go up there and perform as a solo performer, whether they're accompanying themselves and singing or whether they're just playing melodically on their instrument. That is a skill to be able to keep time for yourself in that way. That like when you watch a really good performer, a solo performer play, it's like watching four people on stage at once, because their timing is so involved and it's so strong. And that doesn't mean like, there can be moments of free time. There can be moments. It doesn't mean that you just need to be stuck with that metronome.
Yeah.
But you I think just as a listener feel as though you feel safe. I know it sounds stupid, but you just feel safe as a listener. And like the the best solo performers. Oh my God, it's fucking awesome when they can play with that and make, it's so great.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of mostly what I do now is I play solo guitar, and that is like the secret sauce is like having really fucking solid time.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what I feel like it is? And I feel like it's almost like when you're watching a movie and it's like watching a movie from a really great director. You may not necessarily know where the story is going or how this is going to progress, but you just feel safe. You feel like, okay, this is in good hands. I trust the person behind this to take me somewhere interesting. And like, there's real value to that. Like, there's real value to being able to feel that secure. And with music, it's so immediate. Like with music, you could have no idea who this person is, and if they're performing for you, again, you could know nothing about music, but it's so. It's just so that feedback response is so immediate that when someone is up there, if they can put you at ease in that way, and you can feel like, okay, I can trust where this is going to go. It's a great feeling. I love that.
I was at a wedding like 3 weeks ago in Austin, and that happened with it. This wedding was awesome, and so there's like the wedding band, and then the after party, which was like all in the same venue. The after party band, we walk into the house where the after party is, and we're like getting drinks. And I was actually with my bass player and drummer, the guys that play with me when I play in Texas. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they started playing, they were playing upstairs. They like looked at each other and they're like, "We got to go right now." And they like run upstairs. The band was insane. I mean, they were so good.
Yeah.
I think it was the house band for the Continental Club in Austin.
Okay.
I'm not completely sure, but it was that literally happened where I was like, oh, this is perfect. And like, it was, I think, like the coolest part of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, that's so great. Like, I remember, like, I've talked about this before, but like being a little kid and going to see Taj Mahal play, and just one guy with a guitar on stage and being able to have that command of the song. Yeah, it's like that's what everyone wants.
One person.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants. Again, whether you're sitting at a piano, you're sitting at a guitar, what have you.
I think that really is what it is like, you know, you use the word command. That's,
yeah.
You know, like having a good groove or time. It's not about like how accurate you are to the beats per minute, you know, like perfectly on beat. It's just like how much the beat is exactly where you intended it to be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I was listening to like...
It's intent. It's intent.
I've been listening to a lot of like solo piano records, and I've been listening to this Thelonious Monk record. And his time and feel on that is like so fucking good. It's crazy. And then, but like when you actually listen to it and like break it down, there's parts where he like adds an extra beat. There's parts where he like doesn't, like is straight up off beat, but it still grooves so hard. Like it almost doesn't make sense. If you analyze it, it sounds like it is off beat, but it just grooves so hard the whole time. And it's, you know, I think it's exactly where he wanted it to be.
It's having that like, that whole understanding of what the ins and outs of the piece are that you're working with. Right? It doesn't mean that you need to go up there and play it the same way every time, but it's that level of like, I imagine it's like being the blind man touching the elephant, but touching every bit of the fucking elephant and knowing exactly where just knowing, you know what I mean? Like you know.
I've never heard this blind man touching the elephant.
I like that though.
What the fuck?
I like that.
I thought what does that even mean?
I'm down. I like that. I'm down for that.
I like it too, but it makes no fucking sense.
Okay, whatever.
I love that. That was great.
Blind man touching an elephant? I don't get it.
Blind man touching an elephant.
I guess my poorly articulated point.
No, dude, that was great.
That like it's just a matter of knowing your song inside and out and having that control of the song where you can do anything you want with it.
Yeah,
because it's yours. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you go to watch someone play. This is the exact inverse of what I'm talking about. You like watch someone play on Broadway or whatever. Probably a great performer. But they're up there and someone asks for a song request. Like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then they're sitting up there. They got their phone on their mic stand and they're like scrolling through lyrics and chords. And like it sounds, yeah, they're playing the right chords. They're singing the melody, sure. But
But you can tell they don't
one
really know the
cares.
song that well.
Yeah, because it's just because you're not actually you're not doing something. You're not inhabiting the song. You're just it's like you're scratching the surface.
They're pulling it out of their ass.
Exactly. You're
instead
just
of like
surface
something
level
that
instead of being able to
not gonna
truly
lie,
understand.
Every time
them.
I see someone with their phone clipped to their mic stand, I'm like,
fucking hate that so
Dude,
much.
Learn the fucking song.
I used to agree until I did it, and I don't do it often. And I should earlier. It would have helped in a couple spots in a couple of my own songs. But I understand.
But that's different.
Yeah,
like
I get
if
it
you're
though.
playing live, like it's just lame.
Yeah.
And they're just staring at it the whole time.
I'm not a vocalist, so I don't have lyrics I have to memorize. But like,
but even then, you have melody you got to memorize. You got harmony you got to memorize.
Phone, like maybe you're not.
You got to practice it more.
Yeah,
totally.
Maybe
no,
100%. Practice room and save the gig for later. Come back when you got
it. Like I said earlier, that the live streams that I would do during like COVID. Killed my memorization of lyrics because you could have the lyrics over here to the left and just play like any cover, whatever.
Yeah.
And now, like with my own songs,
it's not just lyricists too. When you see like a guitarist or a bassist with lead sheets in front of them, it's like just fucking learn the song.
And it's like, and if you're in the studio doing a record, totally forgivable because the songs are new. Everyone's got to learn the songs. That's fine. But when you're going out and playing, I agree. It drives me crazy.
Oh, like staring at. Not to shit on anybody that stares at charts, but
learn the song.
Dude, don't
well,
stare at charts.
the couple times
gig.
that I've done that where I've used charts live, it distracts me.
I find maybe I'm such a person that does everything by ear.
Same, me too.
That staring at the charts makes me fuck up more. Because,
I think about it a lot more.
Because you're overthinking
You're in your brain rather than just like using your ears. And like I usually find if I just let my ear guide me, I know where, like my ear remembers where the next chord is rather than like the letter note that I have to hit. You know what I
Especially
mean?
like drum charts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No shade to. They're obviously very useful, but I see people looking at and I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I couldn't do it.
I guess it makes sense. Like I know
if they're recording or something.
Well, in this town in particular too, I feel like there is a lot of just last minute shit.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
But if you're playing
if you're a hired gun,
if you're like part of that band, like lose the fucking charts. You know what I mean? If you're subbing for someone and it's a last minute thing, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But
and maybe that's just the way my brain works. But I'm pretty much self-taught on drums, but I did take like a drum class, like lessons in college for like 6 months, and I would read drum charts while I was playing, and I'm like, man, it was pretty hard for me just the way my brain works.
Yeah,
because I'm like, man, I
can't do it.
I have to just listen to it and then do it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember years ago.
Well, you're always going to be like half of your potential if your brain is like focused on a chart. Like, you're
that's
not
how
going to be playing your best if
Yeah.
you're reading a chart. I guess maybe some people can, but not me.
Yeah, but it has its purpose.
I remember years ago doing a bass gig for someone in town, and like, it was kind of a last minute thing. Brought a bunch of charts, and it was a fine gig, whatever. And then like the next day, we had like a gig at like Fat Bites or something. Yeah, I think it was Fat Bites, and and I remember not bringing anything. Just being, okay, I've played the songs. And the gig was infinitely better because I wasn't thinking. I was just playing the song. Because I'm not like, again, like you got to actually, if you've never rehearsed with anyone, it's useful to have that there to kind of like anchor yourself.
Or if it's a last minute gig.
But then after you run through that gig and it's like, okay, let me try this tomorrow. Just use your fucking ears. You'll figure it out.
I think everybody is playing their best when they are in their subconscious, and like
and when you're not thinking,
you're not in your thinking brain, you're in your creative brain. And if you're reading a chart, that forces you to be in your thinking brain, and you will just not play as good like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a balancing act too, because there is the kind of like there's the intellectual part of music that I do think is useful for tapping into that creative brain. So there is that balance of trying to.
But the intellectual part is for the practice room.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not at the
stage.
It can't be at the detriment of being able to explore with the stage. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was actually watching. I was working with, again, my students this past week or 2 weeks ago, and we were looking at like how much of the brain is active when people are playing music. And I just, I never really seriously looked into this until recently. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how much of the brain is firing when you're playing music, which I just didn't know because I don't think about this shit. But like,
too, like musicians have a much lower chance of getting like dementia or Alzheimer's when they're older because they have such an active brain.
And I hear too, like, again, this is more just me talking out my ass as usual, but many things in life, we use segments of the brain individually for certain tasks, whereas with music, even just listening to music without actually performing in any way, just listening to music, so many different spheres of the brain are having to work in unison. And then on top of that, when we perform, we have to access the ability to either, read something, or actually we physically have to use our body to use the proper mechanics to play. So there's all these other elements that then come on top of that when we're performing. But even just listening to music, it's like, you would think it's just the auditory part of the brain that's firing up, but it's your whole brain is having to work in different ways to be able to translate something and compute something in that way, which is different than language. It's different than this. That is really interesting to me. I don't know why, like, it's such a like that full body workout for your brain in a way that like nothing else really is. Like, I'm sure there's other facets of art that are still good for your brain and productive, but they don't overtake your brain in the same way that music does, which is really strange.
It is.
What I'm saying is we're smarter than everyone else. That's what I'm saying,
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck everyone else. If you don't play music, you're not as cool.
Fucking normies.
Yeah, right? I mean, you probably have more money and you probably have more of a life. And
yeah.
you probably
brains
a better
stability.
But hey, you're going to forget about, your nice car when you're older. I'm going to like...
Yeah, we're still going to be broke, but having a great time.
But we're going to be able to remember...
hopefully not, though.
Hopefully
not.
Broke. Yeah.
Not, hopefully not.
There you go. What, so your last record came out, last year, right? Well, shut up, Brian. Shut up.
What a segue. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh my God. Brian, too.
Go from like the crazy philosophical talk to, all right, so when did you put out your last single?
Sorry.
But yeah.
Brian, you want to ask him a
But
question?
yeah.
Yeah, tell us about tell us about your last record.
That was good.
Is how much your brain did you use for that?
It did come out in November.
Oh, it came out in November. Okay, yeah.
So wrote it.
So how was that?
Okay, sorry, I'm done.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
All right, so it came out in November.
Yeah.
Give me the rundown on that, because I know it had been a little while since you'd done the record, right?
Been 2 years. Yes. So yeah. So I put a song out. So I've put like 4 singles out in the last like 5 years.
Okay.
Tired was the first one. All recorded with my buddy Alexander Sadek. He's a great producer, engineer. His studio is actually like 5 minutes from here. Yes. So we put out Tired, and then a song called Wishin'. And then the next year we did a song called Tailwind. And then it was like 2 years. Yeah. So we took like a year off. Mm-hmm. And then I wrote a song called Dude Time with my friend Cora about a year ago. And then, so we recorded it this past summer, put it out in November. I think I want to put it on an EP.
Okay.
So, like, I still want to kind of keep promoting that one with another set of songs, though.
Yeah.
So I've got a handful of songs that I want to record. I don't know how I want to release them.
Yeah,
that song Circus Act is one of them. I'm
Okay.
like, I like it, but I'm like, I don't know what I want to put that out with,
Yeah.
If it's just a single or with other songs.
When you listen to music, how do you generally listen? Do you listen to
I listen to way too much music.
Do you tend to listen to full albums, or
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But so I love listening to full albums. I love like on a Thursday night, they come out at like 11, on Spotify and all that. So like if I have a band or artist that's putting an album out, I'd love to just like sit and listen to that new album like as soon as it comes out. I do love full albums. I also just love putting an artist shuffle on Spotify, and just letting it
See, I almost
play for
never
like
do
hours.
Same.
I love
that. Sounds
doing
scary
that
to
too.
me. I sound afraid hearing that.
I would say both though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all don't like that at all?
I mean, I'll pick individual. Like if I'm driving the car or something, I'll pick I'll pick a few tracks just randomly that I want to hear. But like most of the time, I'll put a record on.
I listen to albums in the car
Oh, interesting. Okay.
exclusively because my car's old as shit. And so it still takes CDs. So I have like 200 CDs in my car.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Yeah. So like I tend to listen to albums in the car, and then like if I love an album, then I'll listen to it 1,000 times. Like the latest Sam Fender album. Have you all heard of Sam Fender?
No.
He's incredible. He's this from the UK, like indie rock singer songwriter guy. But his latest album, the last year, has been like I listen to it constantly.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sam, if you want to come on the show,
Dude, he's the best. Y'all should check him out.
We'll check them out.
That's awesome.
But
Hell
yeah, I'm a mix of both.
Okay.
And then like I love just shuffle too, like hitting an artist's like
Yeah,
radio
I
and
don't
just
trust
letting
my-
it play.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's
Specifically
insane.
to like discover other artists.
I feel like I would
That's
sooner
kinda
close
how
my
I like
eyes and just
to
like
do
let
that.
go of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
You don't get that control, Spotify. You don't get that power.
It is crazy. Like the algorithm that the streaming services have.
I feel like so I use Spotify for all my like music streaming really. I have an iTunes that I have like my music collection in that I'll go to for certain stuff, but like in terms of streaming platforms, that's what I use. I feel like, as you know, and it sounds silly complaining about this because we have like literally all of recorded music at our fingertips, like I shouldn't bitch about this, but I do feel like something that is really can be a downside to that is you get kind of stuck in these cycles where you'll have, the music you've been listening to for the last 3 months or whatever. And it's so insulated, and it's really, really, really difficult to break out of those same however many albums or whatever.
Totally.
Not even just with music, with anything. You watch like one thing on YouTube, and then
it gives you the same.
Constantly giving you more of that thing, and it's like, no, I just wanted to see it that one time. Like,
and for certain things, I think it's great. Like for Spotify knows like the half a dozen podcasts or whatever I'm going to listen to. Like it knows that sort of thing because that's a safer bet for them, I think.
Yeah.
And just in terms of the way you interface with those things as a consumer, it's going to be much less frequent that I step outside of that and go check. I'm going to check out this new podcast.
Yeah.
It's just for myself. It's not what I'm going to do. But for music, it's like it does feel like it gets very insulated very quickly, and so like I'll have to make playlists of things, not even to like listen to I never listen to a playlist as a playlist, but I use it to like be able to reference other things I've listened to, so I can go back and put this album on or listen to. Here's this artist that I found that like is just if it's not in that little box of what you've been listening to for the past 3 months, it's just you're gonna have to do a lot of digging to find it.
I don't really listen to music my algorithm suggests me anyways. I'm usually
I've never done that in my life
through other things.
Or like this, someone will recommend something. Oh, let me go check this guy out or whatever. I don't think I've never once in my life looked on Spotify about like what they think I'll listen to. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'm missing out on some cool shit.
Speaking of AI, there's this new AI like radio on Spotify, and I've been listening to that this weekend.
It's AI music.
It's no. It's like a DJ, but
He'll like mix the songs together
it will like just create a playlist for you
based on what you listen to.
They'll give you stuff so it'll be like, so now we're going to play you 4 of your most streamed songs from 2002, and then they'll play you like 2 or 3 like random artists that you've never heard. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a little terrifying.
It is
cool,
a little
terrifying.
It is pretty cool, but it's also like, holy shit. Like it's pretty wild.
So, what's your wrapped look like? No,
my wrapped?
I feel like that should be our one question we ask everyone. What's your Spotify wrapped look like?
I'm trying to remember, but I
didn't even look.
It was like,
I know, I don't either.
It was like the Marias, the 1975, Sam Fender, Ryan Adams, and some.
That's tracks pretty good. I feel like there you go. It's a solid.
I think Taylor Swift was on it like 2 years ago. I'm a Swiftie. I love her. Right? No shame.
Yeah,
But it's
that's what we should start doing as an aside to this. We should force everyone to throw up their Spotify Wrapped and see what it is. That'd be so funny to just like out people on the show.
Oh, totally. Y'all should do that.
Yeah,
that'd be a good segment right there.
Do you when you're writing? Do you write on piano? I assume.
Yes, piano and guitar.
Oh, okay.
I'm a terrible guitar player. I mean, I'm like I can just play chords.
You're a good piano player. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, that track, especially because like your songs there's a lot. The harmony in your songs can be really interesting. So I imagine like that's hard to write in that style on guitar.
Yeah, definitely. I did that song "Due Time," the one I just put out. I did write that on guitar. Actually, two of those 3 songs I played I wrote on guitar, but I do
really.
I used to solely write on piano. Mm-hmm. Now I would say it's like 50-50.
Okay. Is it like I always find because I tend to write on piano, like that's what I've kind of always tended to do. Occasionally I'll write on guitar, but I really primarily write on piano. I do find the biggest thing for me is groove.
Yeah.
The grooves that show up on guitar can be very different than the grooves that show up on piano. Like, do you find it's the same thing for you?
Yes, I feel like I probably get better results if I write like 60%, 70% on piano and then just a little bit on guitar. Okay. Melodically, obviously, like piano, especially for like vocal melodies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very helpful for me to write on piano.
Do you write your vocal melodies on piano and then transfer to vocal?
What was it?
Like, do you write your what will be your vocal melodies on piano and then transfer to your vocal, or do you just sing along?
I have done that.
Yeah.
A lot of times though, I play chords and then I just start singing random melodies until something kind of sticks that I like. I'm just like making stuff up, and then I'll put words to it.
See, that it comes back to that's nothing to something thing.
Now
it's that. Yeah. It's so weird. Like
you're just like making stuff up.
Well, yeah, you could, and that's what it's like, because you're totally right, Brian. Like it is still the distillation of all of these different things that you're listening to. Like you can't escape your influence. You can't escape everything that's in your ear and in your mind. But there's still that point where you're going from where you transition from nothing to something. Yeah. Where you're sitting there at the piano, you're sitting there at the guitar, what have you, and it's that thing is what keeps me going back to it every time, because you don't know how it's going to show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't. Like I tend to, most of the time I'll do the same thing. I'll play piano or guitar, what have you, and then I'll just kind of sing over harmony. But a lot of times, I'll write a melody on piano and then transfer that to the voice and just see how it sits and see how it sounds. Because it's also just different. Like, writing a melody for different instruments. Yeah. They play differently. Like if you're writing a melody for a vocal versus a piano, it's going to, sometimes one won't necessarily translate to the other. But when you sit down and then, no matter how much work you've put into it, whether it just shows up like that or whether you've been sitting there for hours, when it clicks and it's right, there's no better feeling creatively that I've ever experienced than that feeling. Oh, this is what it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's like, it's not like you're not guessing anymore. It's like, it's like you've discovered it. It's like unearthing a dinosaur. You're like, oh no, that's what it is. Oh, no, this is a rib. This is another rib. This is a part of the spine. You know what I mean? Like it's like an archaeological excavation. It really feels like that, and I don't know why that is. Like I don't know why the mind. Again, it goes back to the blind man feeling on the elephant.
I have no idea. What
I feel like part of the creative process is.
Is that like a common saying, or did you just make that up?
Well, no, yeah, that's not. You should put that in a song. Seriously.
No, that was a serious question. Is that
So
thing.
the point, the phrase, like the normal way people would say that is like, you know, if a blind man is touching an elephant, they don't know. Jesus Christ!
No. Go on.
They don't understand. If you're only touching a part of it, you don't understand the context of the shape of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was saying earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like the blind man feeling the entire elephant. So you have the
sense.
entire context of the thing.
I get it now.
But I think now I'm trying to think what the hell I was saying. With creating something, it is still, it's like it is this nothing to something experience that when you do it, it's almost like you do need to still live in it. You do need to sit there and mess around. It's like you're still feeling it out. Like,
do you like writing a song in one sitting, or do you?
I used
break
to
it up.
I used to. I've talked about this before, but I think of it like I always think of it like puzzle pieces coming through a door, right? And I used to think that when the whole puzzle comes through the door intact and it's all there, and you know, okay, maybe this goes here, done. You know what I mean? That I used to think that was of a higher quality, but as I've grown older and lazier, I think I've realized that it doesn't correlate to quality in any way. It's just that the pieces come through the door at different times.
It's not like the same way
and
every time.
And don't get me wrong, like I do think if you're just sitting with something for years, like we all have those songs that we'll go back to over and like, I just can't get this fucking thing. And I always imagine I've got that pile of puzzle pieces behind me that's just like, I don't know what to do with this shit, right? Like, we all kind of have that. But as I've gotten older and the longer that I've written songs, the more I've realized that the puzzle pieces just come through the door at different times. And sometimes they're going to come more intact and it's going to be more apparent as to what goes where. Yeah. And other times it's just going to take longer to fit these things together. And now it's like and again, this is probably to my own detriment, but now I've just gotten comfortable with not necessarily caring about the timeline.
Yeah.
Right? And I find, generally speaking, if you could do it in a couple months is kind of that sweet spot where, like, if you start to go beyond that, you're kind of, you've missed it at that point. The pieces are somewhere back there.
Yeah.
You know, you got to just sort of sift through and find them. But that's the way I tend to look at it. And I think that, to me, at this point in life, that's where I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with just sort of accepting, okay, I'll get a little bit done here. If nothing is showing up, don't beat yourself up over it. Just, I think for myself too, it's because I'm such a regimented person with other facets of life. Yeah. Like I'm such a type A personality with all other elements of my life, that with music, I can't treat it the same way. I kind of have to be more soft with it. I need to be more accepting with it and understand, like, okay, you're going to get like, still put the work in, obviously. Like, it's not like be a slacker, but like, don't beat yourself up over it. It'll show up when it's supposed to show up, or it won't. You know what I mean? And like, you're just going to have to.
I feel the same way. Do you like to co-write?
No, I
used to not like it.
Do you like doing it?
I feel like, I've lived here almost 9 years. The first half of the time I lived here, every time I would try to co-write, there were times where it was fine, but until like the last year and a half or two, I've gotten way more comfortable with it. And I think maybe it's just because I'm writing with people that I'm friends with already.
Yeah, that's nice.
For the most
being
part.
Able to have that.
And so I do like it for, like, if, for example, I wrote a song with my friend Lily J like a few days ago, and I came up with like a guitar part and a melody for like a verse, right? And I wrote pretty much a whole or half of a verse or something. And then she came over when we wrote, and we just wrote that song. But the idea was already there, and then she helped turn it into something I wouldn't have even thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so I like it for that.
Okay.
I used to not. Like, it used to feel like such a chore.
I just, the memory I go back to constantly with it, because I personally have never been comfortable with it, and I know that's my own fault. I know that's a shortcoming of myself, my own creative.
I don't think it's
endeavors.
For everybody.
Yeah, like I remember one time, this was years ago, probably 5-6+ years ago. I had this like development company that I was working with, and they were helping manage me and do shit for me, and they'd set up this co-write with this guy in town who'd written with a lot of great folks, and really sort of well respected in that sphere, you know. And I went over there, and I write weird fucking songs. You know me, like I write just all my songs are in character, and they're just bizarre, and like, you know, and I went over there and tried to sit down with him and play. And I mean, super nice guy, like absolutely sweetheart of a guy, and had a really nice time. But like, I sat down, like played him a bunch of my songs, and within 15 minutes, he was like, "Oh, we're not going to write anything today." Like, not because, and he wasn't like not saying it in like a dismissive way, but like you do that, I don't do that. It was this kind of interesting moment where it's like, okay, that isn't meant maybe for me. I don't really know, but he was being really sweet about it. But he's like, I just don't think you want to do that. Like you do this.
He could tell that maybe it's like you are like a singer songwriter that writes by yourself. Maybe he could see that too. And
it was interesting. Again, like I picked his brain about all kinds of things, and I do think at the end of the day, it was a really fruitful endeavor, because I got to kind of see his process and understand how he's done this, and that was great. But it was interesting sitting down at the piano. I mean, like, I really like what you're doing. Do this yourself. Like you're already doing the thing, and that to me was kind of all I needed to hear in that. Like once that happened, I was like, okay, like I don't think I really want to do that with other people. And again, like that can yield great results for folks, and that's awesome. It's just not what I'm interested in doing. I'm also just such a control freak with certain things in life that like the idea of performing is different in my mind. I know it's weird, but like performing to me is a wholly different animal. Like I want everyone to be able to explore in a performance, but they're exploring a map that I've created.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's not even necessarily like it's not an ego thing in any way. It's like, I want to know, it's almost like I need to know what the sandbox is before we play in it. And I need to be the one to construct the sandbox.
Yeah.
And then we can and then that's why I love performing, is then you can have great musicians around you who can explore and traverse these things and get to places that you never would have got to on your own. You know, like if I'm playing with Brian's going to try things as a lead guitar player that I just wouldn't concoct that in my mind. Like, and that's why I want him, is because he will do that. Or that's why I want this bass player or this drummer, because they're gonna play with these things in ways that are interesting and fun. But I'm just not gonna do that on my own. Like, it's just not gonna happen. And so I do feel like you need, to me, there is a part of ownership to it, of like, but I
you
need
have to
be
like
the person
let go
who makes
of
it.
a little bit to be able to do it.
But I let go of it after it's formed. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. Yeah. I just don't think it's forever. I think there's certain people that are good at, they feel good co-writing, and then there's certain people that it's just not, like, it doesn't naturally.
Yeah, I wish I could give myself to that thing in that way, but I've never been able to do to kind of
No,
like
I
let
totally
go.
get it.
Yeah, maybe it is just ego. Maybe I'm just...
No, I don't think so.
All right, we want to take a second to thank one of the sponsors of the show, Ear Trumpet Labs. If you've watched the live performances we film here on Roosic, chances are you've already seen their microphones in action. We use their Delfina mic all the time in the studio, and honestly, it's become one of our favorite pieces of gear.
Ear Trumpet Labs makes handcrafted condenser microphones that are designed specifically for acoustic music and live performance. They look incredible on camera, and more importantly, they sound amazing.
They're built in Portland, Oregon, and you can really tell there's a lot of care that goes into them.
So if you're a musician, engineer, or venue looking for a microphone that both sounds great and looks great on stage, definitely go check them out. You can learn more at eartrumpetlabs.com.
And a huge thanks to Ear Trumpet Labs for supporting the show. Now, back to the episode. Yeah. Do you find when you are co-writing with people, do you find, I think the sort of the basic two camps that everyone sort of falls into is melody or lyric. Like, to you, do you find that you tend to sit in one? Okay.
And I would like to think that I'm decently good at writing lyrics. Yeah. Good lyrics are just so, like, they don't always just come to me in the amount of time that a co-write happens. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do, and I'll rattle off some nonsense that turns into a really good part of a verse or whatever. I would say like 60-40. I think melody, but it just depends on the song too.
It's so funny.
So maybe 50-50. I don't know.
Lyrics are such a
They're
elusive
so
thing,
weird to me, dude.
writing
lyrics.
You performed "Tired" earlier.
Yeah.
And there's a line in that song at the end of your chorus, your post-chorus, whatever you want to call it. I scraped the white.
I scraped the ice off
the windshield.
Yeah.
And I go to work. It's like, and that is a great line, and it's a great line not just because it's like not just because it doesn't just convey an image, which it does. Like I've heard you play that song for years now. And the second I told you when you were playing it, like the second I heard that song, I felt like it was me sitting in that chair, but it was like the me of like
I remember
6
playing
years
that song
ago.
for you before it came out. Actually,
yeah, it was it's a beautiful song. But I remember I was sitting here, I was like, oh, it felt like it was the me of 6 years ago sitting in this chair and listening to it, which was a sort of weird feeling. But that's such a great line. One, it's just a very visceral line. Like you can imagine it in your mind's eye. But just as importantly, if not more importantly, it just sounds right. And so much of songwriting on the lyric side of things you're not writing poetry. You're writing something that has to sound correct. And it's so like that art.
And it doesn't even have to be like super complex.
No, yeah. But it's that marriage of being visceral to the mind's eye whilst also being whilst also sounding correct.
Yeah.
That is really like that's the part of
It's
lyric
crazy.
writing that I think that trips a lot of people up, because a lot of people are good at like the we have a lot of folks in here who have done like who write in the kind of pop country world, that kind of thing, which is there's an art to that, but it's like that you sort of the sandbox is very defined, lyrically what you're working with.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And again, not to put any of that down necessarily, but like it's a very, very defined sandbox. And yet
I've written some of that kind of thing with people that do like a lot of that. And I'm trying to do more of that thing too, while also doing what I do.
Yeah.
Separate from that, or I don't know, a meld of the two. But it is very like, you could tell that they're just like, it's formulaic, which I think is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's good for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But totally.
Those things they don't stick in the mind in the same way. Like they don't, for what, generally speaking, I find as just a listener, they won't, there are certain lines in songs that I'll chew on for a long time. And they like, you were playing Tom Petty earlier while you were warming up, and Tom,
Crawling Back to You.
he is so good at this because he is a fascinating meld of just an incredible pop artist. I mean, Tom Petty, he is a pop artist.
Some of his lines are so simple, but they're so clever at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's an unbelievable pop artist, and yet at the same time, he is such a defined artist, and he'll have lines that you'll just sit with forever. I mean, I'll sit with some of those lines for the rest of my life, and that is it's like the Beatles. It's that McCartney approach to music, not lyrically. I would argue Tom Petty just writes circles lyrically around Paul McCartney, but like, but melodically, like Paul is so fucking good at being able to write something that is musically so accessible that like you want to tap your foot and sing along, and yet you look under the hood, it's so complicated under there, and not complication for the sake of complication, but just like a really nice fucking engine. You know what I mean?
It's time
like just
to move on. It's time to get going. What lies ahead? I have no way of knowing. That's like, it's so simple, but it's also like,
yeah. What do you who are some favorite songwriters aside from the whole rap thing, like the rap?
Oh, yeah. I do love Tupac.
Fuck rap music. Who are some
on here?
Like top five?
Give me the Mount Rushmore. Give me 4. I mean, you can go more if you want, but I want to hear like who are the folks that you
man, this is gonna
you think
be
are some of the
really
goats.
hard.
Yeah.
Like really hard.
I know. I'm so
Let's
sorry.
just list a handful.
Yeah, you don't even need to have a definitive number. Just kind of tell me about the people that
like
you look up to.
newer people, like of the last 5-6 years.
I'm talking about the goats. I'm talking about they can be newer, but I'm talking about the all-time favorites. Who are the all-time
Tom
favorites?
Petty, Don Henley.
That's too
Mike Campbell, because him and Tom Petty co-wrote a lot of those songs.
Yeah, and he's a great songwriter.
Neil Young, Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham. I mean, all of Fleetwood Mac. Man, I know I'm like naming more.
No, go for it.
I said Don Henley, right?
Yeah, those are good. Those were
Kind of have to say
strong
Bruce
picks right
Hornsby then too.
there. Okay.
Bruce Springsteen.
Okay. Those are solid picks right there.
Chris Martin. Did I say Ryan Adams, John Mayer? Yeah.
That's a good mix. What
Dean Dillon, who wrote like a lot of the George Strait songs.
Okay,
that one's kind of
Who
like
what
a
do you
lot
think
of them.
of all of those folks you love? Are there through lines in there? As artists, are there through lines that you think are present in the people that you love?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think about it that much, but
yeah, I don't know. Like because I think about the same thing. It's like what am I compelled by? I guess.
Yeah.
And like why am I compelled by this?
A lot of it's I'm a melody. I love just good melodies, and I think all of them write very good melodies. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about it that much.
Yeah, I mean it's melodies. It's so hard to write a good fucking melody.
Really is.
It's so hard. I would argue that is one of the most difficult things you can do in life is write.
I think lyrics are harder. For some
I know.
reason.
I personally think lyrics are harder.
Yeah.
I just think writing, because writing. I should say it like this. I think writing lyrics are harder. Full stop.
Yeah.
I would argue though that writing a melody, because in my mind, melody is always like, and I'm sure part of this comes from the sort of folk tradition of music, but like melody, everything's already kind of recycled. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not to say that like you're gonna copy whole cloth from here and here, but like it's kind of like to Brian's point earlier. It's like you're constantly taking on all of this input that you've taken in. You're distilling it to a melody that works for what the song is that you're trying to create, right? And it's still like you still have to fashion something that is unique and that is it lives independently, right? But there's so much input happening that you can I can see the process more clearly with how melody is constructed in my mind as a creative person. I can see, okay, there's all these different melodies that I've listened to that I love, that, you know, all these different, you know, time signatures, keys, intervals, etc. Like all of the things, the components that make those things, they're very complicated and you can spend your entire life immersed in them and studying them, but I can rattle them off with more confidence. I know what they are, and then it's sort of the distillation of all those things come together to make something new, right? Like the parts come together and they make a new melody, right? Whereas with lyrics, it's like, fuck, where are we going? Like, you know what I mean? Like you feel like you're on less sturdy ground in a way.
You spend a long time on like one line.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas melody is, again, it is unbelievably hard to write a good melody. Like it's so like I'll listen to like I was saying this past week I was listening to a lot of early rock and rollers because I just love, that's some of my favorite music in the world. Those melodies are so great. They're so great, and they're oftentimes they're very simple melodies. I think those can be the most difficult melodies to write. Yeah. Just something that sticks in your head and is simple. That's why I have so much respect for pop writers, as formulaic as it can be. I think it is a very hard thing to do. But man, writing a good melody is hard.
It's my favorite.
It's really
hard.
hard.
Like the hard part about it too is at least what I find is like writing a melody that doesn't sound like a million other melodies.
Yes.
Writing a melody that sounds distinct, where you're like, yeah, that's that song.
Yeah.
That's, you know, it's easy to write a melody that sounds good. But like to write a melody that stands out as like its own thing that people get stuck in people's head and they'll remember it. And
it's somewhat unique, not
really
easy.
Fucking elusive.
Yeah. A lot of times those just come to you.
Yeah.
You know, and like
all
you
the best
can't
things
even
do, I feel like.
Yeah. It's like they just sort of like appear.
Yeah.
That song Tired happened that way, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I literally just couldn't sleep. And I remember I had to like wake up and work a double the next day. and this kind of happened for multiple weeks, and it was almost like a joke. The way that song started, like, I'm so tired. You know what I mean? Like and then I couldn't get it out of my head. And so I just wrote it, and it became like a really sad sounding song. But yeah, that one just came like.
I'm curious.
They just kind of show up.
As songwriters, when do you guys put in the harmony? Where in the process do you write melody first without harmony and then put the harmony in after? Because when I write, I tend to do both at the same time.
That's interesting.
But yeah, so you write melody first with no harmony and then
so if I write it solo, then the harmony happens when we record.
Oh, interesting. I tend to write harmony as I'm writing the melody, because I'll follow, or I'll follow harmony along with melody.
My producer Alex is really good at producing.
Because I find
harmonies.
Like
writing harmonies in the studio.
I guess melody comes first, but only a little bit before. Like I hear the note I want to go to, and then I'm looking for the sound.
Yeah, exactly, to marry with it. Yeah.
And co-writes harmony.
But I like doing it at the same time because that chord might influence the next bit of the melody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it'd be very, very hard to do. For me, it'd be very hard to do all melody or all harmony, because it's sort of like this. It's almost like this game of like.
I've never even thought about that.
But
that's a good question, honestly, because I was like,
I could also see that leading to a better melody. I might try that just because I could see that leading to a better melody when you like force yourself to write a good melody with no harmony. Like, that's hard to do. That's really hard to do.
I will say, co-writing is fun to come up with harmonies in a co-write if you're writing with like a really good female singer or a guy too. But it's like, I would say in the writing process, I only write the harmonies if we're like writing and singing
to the
we're
melody.
both just singing like the chorus together. Okay. You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah, but if it's just me solo write, then when we record it. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, because I mean, especially I think with
That's a really good question.
I think with guitar, the chords are guitar. I think tends to sound best as a supportive instrument when you're playing open chords, right? Like guitar is built around nice, big sounding open chords. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can comp all you want with anything on a guitar, but like when I'm writing on guitar, this is why I tend to write on piano more. I think just for the way that I write. If I'm writing on guitar, I can throw a half diminished chord in, or maybe we're going to this, this sus chord or whatever.
You're much more limited on a guitar.
But I just feel like when I'm at a piano, it's like I'm looking at the harmony interacting with itself.
Yeah.
And so it's like my mind's eye.
You're thinking about it from a theory standpoint.
Yeah, my mind's eye can like meld I can translate what's going on in my mind in music, even though I'm a guitar player, faster creatively on a piano, because I can imagine the intervals shifting with one another. You know what I mean? Whereas like on a guitar, it's
definitely
different.
hard because guitar has the same note in multiple different places. It's harder to visualize it that way on the guitar. Yeah. I've always played guitar, so for me, it's like, I can still see the intervals and everything like that, but I've never really.
Yeah. I just found that creatively, I will try, even though I feel more competent as a guitar player, I will try more things, probably because I don't have, as much formal training on a piano. I'll fuck around more on a piano to find the thing that I would just trust my gut instinct on a guitar. We're going here now.
It's easier to fuck around on a piano because
exactly.
You have more fingers, you can play more notes at one time, you can play a greater range at one
time. The bass is going to move here, or like
and play freely with this hand. Guitar, you're much more like locked into the position that you're playing in. So, that
makes sense.
It makes sense why writing on piano would be easier.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
I almost want to try to get better at piano just to be able to write on piano and then later translate that over to guitar.
Writing on piano is so helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
because it's just all laid out.
It seems so much easier than guitar. And now that I do a lot of solo stuff, sometimes I just listen to piano players. I'm like, God, why am I playing guitar?
Like guitar, like I have a guitar in my room that I just pick up to just mess around, and that's how I write on guitar. Is just like, oh, here, you know, like casually. Sitting at the piano is more of like a, you know, like I don't do it as much as I should. Just sitting down and playing the piano for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always find, so at work, I have like a grand piano in my office, and I've had a piano in my working space for years. So I think that's part of it, is like I can just jump in and out of it throughout my day.
Yeah.
Like constantly. So it's nice because I can take those ideas throughout my day and play more. You know what I mean? Whereas like I feel like that's, to me, that dictates a lot, is just the amount of reps you get with the thing. And so I think just by happenstance, that's always kind of been the case, is that's accessible to me. And so I can always sit there and tweak and play. Okay, I like when the melody does this. I like when the harmony does this. You know, the bass is, actually no, I'm going to go back to what I was doing with the bass. You know what I mean? Like you can again, it's inhabiting the whole thing. Like there's that's what I always think is the most probably one of the things I'm most impressed with musicians, whatever field you're in, whatever genre you're in, like when people can really inhabit that thing. And again, it's that command. It's being able to just feel totally at ease with whatever you're doing. And that's just reps. I mean, it's like anything else. It's just putting the time in. So I think that's probably also another reason why I tend to write on piano, just because I just spend more time throughout my day putzing around
sitting on the piano.
Yeah, even though again, like I'm not a piano player, but like it's access.
I really started writing a lot on piano in college because for a few years I was a music major, and so we'd be in the practice rooms, you know, like, and I was supposed to be like learning whatever classical song I was working on at the time, and I would just half the time I would just sit there and write songs for myself.
So I remember in college we had to do everyone had to learn, it was like the most basic shit in the world, like no matter what instrument you played, you had to learn like all of your I can't remember if it was just major keys or it was major keys and modes, like just something simple on the piano. And like, you know, every week you had to come in with these different scales and stuff known. And I was like, again, like the mechanics of playing a piano, like any instrument, can be difficult, right? Like especially like when you're having to break up the mind into, I think piano's hard because guitar, stringed instruments in general, your hands are having to work independently, but they're doing different tasks. Whereas piano, they're having to work independently, but the mechanics are the same, which I think for a lot of people who've never played piano or are coming from another instrument can trip people up.
Yeah.
But I remember like you'd have these unbelievable fucking, you know, trumpet players or like, you know, insert whatever instrument, you know, upright bass players, and like they're like struggling to like learn the piano. I'm like, just fucking learn the piano. You can do it. And like, not to be great at piano, but just to like understand how the piano is laid out. Like, it's not that it's kind of great that it's so simple. You know?
Yeah, no, I never
really got it.
Seriously,
it's not that hard actually. Like, it's just the same thing over and over.
Like if you could learn this other instrument,
you'll be fine. Like you just put the work in. You know?
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, other people just need to stop sucking an instrument. Oh man, what have you been working on recently? Are you doing any writing at the moment, or?
Yeah, pretty regularly. I'm gonna start recording again, I think soon, hopefully. And so I want to. Nice. I've got songs that I think I'll record, but then I also feel like there's songs that I haven't even written yet.
Yeah.
That I want to put like on an EP. So yeah. So really just trying to get the right songs together. And that song "Due Time" I played, the second one I played, I want to put that on an EP, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, and then just trying to co-write and write by myself as well. I kind of try to do equal amount of both.
For putting albums or EPs together.
Yeah.
I find as a listener, most of the albums, EPs that I love, albums really, it's not like, okay, here's 10, 12 songs, just throw them on a record together.
Yeah.
There is a, maybe not necessarily like a narrative through line, but there is cohesion there.
There's just, similar vibe almost.
Yeah. How do you approach putting an album together? Because that's a wholly other skill.
I've only put singles out since like my first solo album. Okay. And so that's what I've been thinking about. I think we wrote a song the other day that will go well with that song that I was just talking about. And so, yeah, that's kind of that's the goal.
Nice.
It's sort of, for it to be cohesive enough.
Yeah, like an album that fits together well.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like listening to albums, is just because I like hearing the sort of arc of it.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing. I mean, some people are so good. And it's like some artists that I really like aren't good at that. Some artists are
you
just
hear it,
so
it's like,
great at that, though. Yeah, whereas like you might like
this doesn't totally flow together, but
yeah, or like you listen to someone that you can be really. This happens, I find, a lot with newer artists, and again, not to throw any shade at anyone, but like I'll listen to songs or singles off of a record and they'll be fucking great and be like, oh man, I can't wait for this person to come out with it. And then you listen to the record and you're like, I'm bored after 3.5 songs.
Yeah.
Because like the flow isn't like, and you can almost tell, like, not that people write 4 albums, but you can tell that the people haven't spent the time to sit down and make it a cohesive single piece to present.
Definitely.
It's just like, okay, this one goes on, this one's done, and that's again, as part of this, I just sort of sound like an old man saying this, because that's not how I know I'm the exception to the rule. Most people don't listen to the music the way that we listen to music, where you're going to sit down and just, okay, let's hear side A. You know what I mean? Like that's just not the way most people consume music. But damn it, I like that. I like that approach. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be like Sgt. Pepper's. I'm not talking about like that, but just being able to listen to a cohesive album is such a great thing. Like, just the flow
feels so good.
Yeah, it's like a good live show. You know what I mean? Like it's like a good live show it has an arc to it. It has
like a well thought out set list.
Yeah. Oh, it's
I
great.
think like a song just means more when it's part of something greater.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than just a single is just like, here's a song. It's like, this song is now part of this bigger thing that's bigger than the song. And it, you know,
and
I feel like it gives more meaning to that song when it's part of the...
Yeah, it's like a piece of a whole.
Yes.
Like all of my favorite songs too, like I know the song going into it, and the song ends and I hear the next song coming up. You know what I mean? Like I know where that thing sits in the whole. It's like a great scene in a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that I guess part of it is like
he's constantly roasting you over here.
I wasn't laughing at you.
Okay.
I was laughing at Alexa.
But like,
sorry.
that's why I keep Brian around, you know, really ground me. No, but like it's like a great scene in a movie. You know what I mean? Like a great scene in a movie is only great because you have the context of the rest of the movie.
Exactly.
It's like like we actually went to go see a movie last night, which was actually really, really fucking great. Project Hail Mary.
Huh.
I really was quite impressed with it. It was a lot of fun. Just a really cute movie, like and it had a lot of heart. But like there were some great scenes in that movie, but those scenes in isolation don't. Yes, it can be interesting. It can be compelling to a certain degree, but it's only truly affecting you because you have it within the context of a whole. And I think songs are in a way kind of the same. Like
yes.
a good song is a part of a whole. It's a part of that album. It's a part of like and again, I feel kind of archaic saying it that way, because I know in a way like that's just not how most people experience it. But to me, like that's what it is.
Most people don't experience music on a deeper level like people who are big music fans do.
Yeah, that's true. Same thing. And that's true of like novels, true of films. It's true of I think most people just want that surface level interaction with it. You know, like again, like going back to what I was talking about with my students this past week, like there's different levels to listening to something. Like some people will put music on when they're doing homework, or like I like to put it on when I'm cooking dinner, or do like just hanging out or eating dinner or whatever, you know. And at that point, like, I'm not really engaging with it. Like, you know, if I hear Lee Morgan, like, in the background, like, I love this song. Or like, wait till he does this one. Like, that's great. But like, it's different than if I sit down and I've got the good speakers on and I take my little speaker covers off and I hit play and it's like, okay, now I'm listening to Lee. You know what I mean? And there's levels to that sort of attention that one can give.
I think most people engage with music on the level of just like... Yeah. But I don't think that we should write music for those people.
I agree. Fuck them.
Fuck those people, dude. Like, yeah, and I feel like a lot of people kind of have the attitude of like, you know, well, people want to hear this, and it's like, dude, fuck those people. Like,
I agree.
Make music for people who actually give a fuck about music, not just like.
Yeah. Well, again, going back
people
to
who engage with shit on a basic surface level.
Going back to the movie that we watched last night, one of the reasons why it was great is because it's a fun movie that didn't talk down to the audience. You know what I mean? Like, and when art doesn't talk down to the audience, that is when cool things can happen, because it trusts you as an audience member to be able to put 2 and 2 together and get 4. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's this, again, it's the same way with music. It's like, you have to be able to, you know, yes, and not to just like shit on certain kinds of movies, right? Or certain kinds of music, but like, you know, I don't really care if Iron Man 5 or whatever. Like, it's just not my thing. Like, I don't know. It's not my thing.
I don't really watch those.
No, there's too many of them.
If people like that shit, whatever. Not my fucking thing. I think it's just I can't do it. Right? Not my thing. And there's one of the reasons why I feel like that is because there's a certain level of just dumbing something down to the lowest common denominator that makes me nauseous. And that, again, that translates film. Like, that's something that happens in music. That's something that happens in the written word. And I cannot fucking stand it. It drives me crazy because it's so disrespectful to the audience.
Because you care about the art form. Most people don't.
Yeah, and it drives me insane.
They're just looking for cheap entertainment.
And it's sad when you watch a film or listen to an album or read a great book that doesn't do that you like notice it. You're like, oh shit, like, so, and I guess I shouldn't say it's sad, because it's a beautiful thing. Like, it's like that movie we watched was a really entertaining movie. Like, it was great. It had emotional resonance. It had a great story. It was shot beautifully. Same thing with a great album. Like, you can be moved by that. I shouldn't be like cynical about it, but you can smell that. I feel like people, if you're paying attention, you can just smell that kind of thing. Yeah. When people don't care, or they're talking down to the audience in a way, like, it really that bothers me more than just about anything in art. Like, I really, really have grown to learn that that's the thing that I am just so allergic to in any form of art. Like, it drives me up a wall. It really does. My rant is over.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason they make so many of these superhero movies
there's too many.
Yeah, well, it's because it's a name people know, and they know people are going to buy the ticket. Which reminds me, what do you think about this new Lord of the Rings movie being made? Because I know you're a big Lord of the Rings guy. What do you think about it?
Oh my god, I have so many. I'm sorry, Lucas. I have.
You're good.
I have so many issues. Okay.
Oh man, okay. I might have just started.
No, you might have just started the whole thing. So, oh my god. Okay, I don't even know where to begin. I'm very, very, very skeptical.
Anytime there's like a big.
Yeah. Why would they do that?
Anytime
Seriously,
there's like a legendary franchise where they're like, oh, we're making another one, I'm immediately like, oh, geez, here we go. Like, I guess, and sometimes it works out.
Yeah.
A lot of
they're making another Harry Potter, like a show.
They're making a Harry Potter show. Yeah.
It actually looks.
But that's like one of those series where it's like, you guys, you need to stop. Come up with a new thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's done.
The Harry Potter thing is interesting because, okay, so I'll draw a couple comparisons here. I can get behind a Harry Potter remake because it's a different form. You know, the first time we did it, we got what, eight movies out of the 7 books.
This is a show.
Right?
It might be interesting.
Yeah, and you can have more time to express some of the things that were left out of the books, or to, you know, like I think that there could be a great show if someone was to truly try to adapt those books in a way that was really faithful to the books. I think you could actually make something really interesting there. And again, like, it's not like I don't think a lot of people were really gunning for a Harry Potter miniseries, but like I can see a world where that could work out well.
Oh yeah.
Something like what they're doing with Tolkien's writing is just driving me crazy, because there are the man spent his entire life building this world and history, the languages of this world. There is so much meat still on the bone, and all they're doing is picking at scraps. It's like,
it's crazy they're doing that.
We don't give a flying fuck about the stories you're trying to tell. There are other stories that Tolkien wrote that I think would be, there were ungodly things I would do in this world to see a competent person adapt certain Tolkien stories to film. I think there were some stories that would be so compelling to see, and I would just be fascinated with how people would creatively tackle some of those stories, because some of them are just so difficult to tell visually. I would kill to see some of that. But we don't need a fucking Hunt for Gollum movie.
No, definitely
we don't.
I agree.
This new movie, is this based on his writings, or is this new shit?
There are two movies that are okay. I swear to God, we'll get back to movies.
They're coming out with two.
So initially, okay, Peter Jackson made the Lord of the Rings trilogy, masterpieces of cinema. I will stand by that with my dying breath.
They're good.
He then made the 3 Hobbit movies, which that's a whole other conversation for another time. But they have been working on a Hunt for Gollum movie, which is about within the story of the Lord of the Rings, within the novel. There's a segment where Aragorn and Gandalf are trying to find Gollum. This is after Sauron has let go of him, and after questioning him, Sauron has let go of Gollum to kind of track him and follow him and see what he does. And Aragorn and Gandalf then end up tracking Gollum, and it's in the novel itself. It's a very brief segment that is really told in the Council of Elrond, which is where everyone's together talking about what's been going on, and Aragorn and Gandalf explain this sort of journey that they've been on about looking for Gollum. It's a couple paragraphs. It's very, very brief. That's the movie that's being adapted, is this very, very brief excerpt of The Lord of the Rings that takes place with Aragorn and Gandalf tracking Gollum. And it's interesting, but it's not a movie. It's a very, very brief story that happens with
expanding on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then they just announced this past week that Stephen Colbert is writing another Lord of the Rings movie.
What?
Yes, he's writing another. Or I shouldn't say.
They announced the next one before they even came out.
He's writing. He's writing another Tolkien. I use the name very loosely here. Movie, which is, in that one, it's a combination of a couple things. One, there is a segment of The Fellowship of the Ring, the first book, that is excluded from the movies. Really, just in the beginning, it's just to get the story moving along. It's something. It's like it's the story of the hobbits leaving the Shire. They really fast track all that in the movie, because a 3.5 hour movie is still a 3.5 hour movie. You got to get rolling, right? The novel's 1,000+ pages long, and so he is writing a story or he's writing a screenplay that's about those, I think it's 5 chapters, in Fellowship, of the hobbits leaving the Shire. And also he's sort of mixing with that a story that happens in Tolkien's writing outside of the Lord of the Rings, which is after Frodo sails to the Grey Havens, the end of Lord of the Rings. Spoiler alert. Go read your Tolkien. It's a story about what happens to the other 3 hobbits, that sort of a brief journey that they go on. And so he's kind of marrying these things together. I have no hope for either of these things at all, because again, it's like there is not a film there for either. Like, the reason Lord of the Rings is a great film is because Lord of the Rings is a great story.
Yeah.
And it was conveyed very, very competently by very competent people to make a compelling movie out of a great story.
Yeah.
And there's other great stories that Tolkien's written, but it goes back to like the thing you were saying also about music earlier about, see, I'm bringing this full circle, about being part of a whole.
Yeah.
It's like there's,
Yeah.
it's not compelling because it's not a whole. You're just getting a fragment of something that really it can't stand on its own. And that bothers me because, again, there's so much other stuff that he wrote that would be really, really fascinating to see what people could do with.
Yeah.
But it's like we're just going down to like the lowest common. Oh, people know Aragorn, people know Gollum, people know Gandalf. They'll buy this. Yeah, it's like I don't fucking
They're just
care.
trying to make money.
To me, it's sad when you take something with a legendary reputation and just milk it for whatever it's worth, and then you tarnish the legacy of that thing.
The reason why
why not make something really fucking
new
good and then leave it alone and just let it be legendary for the rest of eternity.
The reason why that book was the 20th century's most read book after the Bible is because you can pick that book up now and you will be affected by that book in the same way people were affected by that book when that book came out in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And my grandchildren will experience the same thing if they pick that book up because the themes of the Lord of the Rings are human themes. It is a compelling story because it has compelling characters, and that is what bothers me about a lot of modern interpretations of things. Is it's like, well, you just think, okay, just because you package it as this thing doesn't mean it's going to be successful. It just means people are going to be upset when they see it. You know
exactly.
What I mean? It's like the reason why that Rings of Power show was so fucking abysmally taken. It's because nobody cares. Like you're just shitting on your audience, which God damn.
Yeah.
Well,
but then for like future generations, like this,
and it almost taints it though.
Yeah,
it taints
all this
it.
shit that will. It's not just going to be like, you know, these books and these few movies. That it's all that other shit is part of it as well. So then it's like becomes just kind of.
And it's like I know,
like take like Star Wars for example.
I was literally about to say like the newer Star Wars
if
movies.
If I start crying, you know why.
They just pump out dog shit movie after dog shit movie, and it's like Star Wars isn't like a good like legendary franchise now. It's just a fucking slop.
If I have gotten anything
the
accomplished
original
as a teacher,
3.
Yeah, and
Obviously,
honestly,
are the best, but
prequels slap too.
I like
those
two.
Coming around to this. The prequels are fire. I don't care
but
what
they
anyone
didn't need
says.
to keep it. They didn't need to like do the most recent
compared
ones.
to what they do now. But but now like forever, like the Star Wars will not be just those first few movies.
Yeah.
If I've accomplished anything
plus all
as a
the
teacher,
other bullshit they put out.
if I've accomplished anything as a teacher, it's just I tell all of my kids, hey, in case you were wondering, there are 6 Star Wars movies. I'll use that line at least once a week. I know it's like propaganda and I'm just trying to brainwash kids, but like it's true. There are 6 Star Wars movies, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I feel like people who write these stories need to I guess they sell all the rights to studios and then the studios fucking do whatever they want with them after. Like artists need to not fucking.
Well, the thing about Star Wars, and we're going to go down a rabbit hole for Star Wars.
I don't know how all that shit works, to be honest.
So with Star Wars is fascinating as a. Lucas knows about me. I love films. I love films. Star Wars is fascinating because the Star Wars movies are really the biggest independent films of all time. Like they are, after the success of the first one, George Lucas really, I mean, these were just obviously widely distributed films, and he got backing for distribution that way, but they really are independent films, which is, I mean,
that's pretty crazy.
It's fucking crazy. It's insane that like
I didn't know that.
After the success of the first movie, one of the brilliant things that he did, because that first movie was an absolute long shot. Nobody thought this was going to fucking make any money. They thought it was going to just absolutely bomb. But what George Lucas did was he retained all of the merchandising rights So when the first movie came out and became the biggest thing of all time, he was the one making all the money from action figures and T-shirts and more action figures. And it was brilliant because that is where all of the money from Star Wars came from. Like when they released that first movie for Christmas that year, they put like pre-orders in for action figures. They didn't have any action figures yet, but it was like the biggest movie of all time. And so they put in pre-orders, and people were buying in 1977, pre-orders for action figures that weren't made yet. And George Lucas, long story short, made all of this fucking money that he then put back into not just making the Star Wars movies, but making companies like THX and just all sorts of amazing backing for film and just companies that really propelled film into the future. But the Star Wars movies, they are essentially the biggest independent movies that have ever
I didn't know that. That's pretty wild.
You have a like them or not, you have a creative voice behind Star Wars. Like you have a person who was saying something about the world. I mean, and so fast forward to when Disney bought, Kathleen Kennedy bought the rights to Star Wars, and I'm trying to think what year this would have been. This would have been probably 15 years ago now. 10, 15 years ago, George Lucas sold the rights to sold the rights to Star Wars, essentially kind of like washing his hands clean of it and being like, I'm selling this to you, do with it as you may. He'd worked with a lot of those people for many, many years and kind of expected that they would respect what he had built with those things. Because I mean, even like the video games that they were those were all companies that George Lucas made. He created the companies that created those videos. You know what I mean? Like, they're not siphoning this stuff off to other people. Like, those were companies that he created to make video games about the stories that he. So it's like the guy was. He was not only such a visionary, but he was so intrinsically connected to all of the Star Wars IP in the world. And obviously there were, many novels and things like that were made that, he didn't write. I don't mean like that, but just he was so involved on that level. So when they sold to Disney, he actually had drafts for another trilogy that he thought, hey, like this is, if you're going to make more Star Wars movies, I have these kind of outlines of where I would like the story to go that I think would be interesting. And they just threw all this out. And they're like, fuck it, we're making our own movies. And then they created like, 3 of just abhorrently bad films that I will never forgive Disney for. And it's a sad world we live in. I don't know why we're talking about Star Wars, but I'll talk about it all day long. And you know what? That being said, I'll still watch Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? It's still
totally.
It's. I think that you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater with all those things. So, like, you gotta just.
My favorite.
You gotta just. It's so good.
It's so good.
You gotta just appreciate it and understand that, like, I guess in a way it does taint the legacy because I guess
the concern is like for us we understand like what the legacy of that really is, but like future generations won't.
Yeah.
They see everything all at once.
Exactly.
And they don't understand. You know what I mean?
And it's this weird thing though, where like great stories, again, regardless of the medium that they're in, great stories are just great stories. And it's like, I couldn't, as a kid, I couldn't tell you why I was compelled by The Lord of the Rings or why I was compelled by Star Wars or other great stories. But I think at the end of the day, it's like you almost have this sixth sense as a human being with great stories and why. Like, it's again going back to this silly movie we saw last night. Like, it was a really good story, and you can when other things get in the way of that, you can sense it. You can sense when other people. When other kind of meddling hands get into things all up. To fuck something, and you can sense when somebody is like, I remember years ago, Squid Games came out, and I don't watch TV. I watch movies. I just don't watch TV. It's very, very few and far between that I'll watch a TV show. And I remember when that show came out,
it was good.
I was like, I didn't like it, but I remember watching me like, this is somebody made this. Like, this is not like there's a creative voice here, and somebody sat down and like tried to make a good show. And then you look into it, and this guy's been trying to make this show for like, however fucking long, a decade or whatever. You're like, oh yeah, like again, it may not be something that I'm interested in, but like you can sense that. Like you can tell when somebody is trying to fucking do something to the best of their abilities, and that transcends all forms of art. I mean, like that's in music.
I'm curious. Did you watch like the second season?
No.
I'm curious if I had to guess that same guy did not write the second season, because the second season felt just like a regurgitation of the same thing. But
well, if you're feeling that way,
letdown.
probably.
Huh.
Damn.
I've never seen that show.
It's pretty good.
Is it good?
Yeah, just watch the first season and then stop.
Pretend
the rest doesn't exist.
That's a life lesson for most things in life, I think. Other than maybe Breaking Bad, that's a lesson for most things in life, I think. Is just watch the first season and then check out. That's what I usually do.
Breaking Bad's a rare example of a franchise that created a successful spin-off that was actually really good.
I like as a viewer, Breaking Bad's a better show. I liked watching Better Call Saul more. Like Better Call Saul was fucking so entertaining.
It was good. Breaking Bad's
better
the go. As a whole.
For sure.
I watched some of Breaking Bad, and then somebody ruined the ending.
Oh, really?
Just like said what happened.
Oh shit!
So I feel
like it's still so good, though.
I've heard that I should still just finish it.
It's the best TV show of all time, in my opinion.
I agree.
I don't even know.
I have the funniest Breaking Bad story, and then I swear we'll get off television. I watched Breaking Bad with my college roommate Riley, and we watched it until we watched up until I think we had 2 episodes left of the last season. And then we went back home for summer break in college. And years went by, and neither of us ever finished the show until I think, and I had no idea what happened. Like, it's not like I got spot. I just didn't know. And I was very compelled by this great story. But then like we went home, never finished. And then I think like 3 years later, legitimately 3 years later, both of us sat down and watched the end of Breaking Bad. We're like, this is fucking great. Like, stuck the landing.
I need to do that.
Yeah. One of the only shows, I feel like most shows kind of get shitty by the end of them. That's like one of the only shows that is just great.
Stayed consistent.
Great from start to finish, and then they stopped. They could have kept making more seasons and made a bunch of money, but they chose to stop.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Stick the landing, guys.
That's what artists need to do, is fucking stop while it's good and don't make it shitty.
Fuck Star Wars.
Agreed.
Stick the landing. No. And with that, if you're all real quiet, you can hear Tolkien rolling in his grave. Well, thank you so much for doing this, dude. This was like so.
Dude, this was awesome.
Like so fun.
Honestly,
this was so much fun. I'm so glad you did this. It's been way too long. We got to hang and like go watch some music at Underdog soon or something.
Let's do it.
That'd be super fun. Or Skinny Dennis, I should say.
100%.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna do it. This was a lot of fun. Seriously.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, dude.
Nice.
That was so much fun.
That was awesome.
Oh,
Hour 40?
Wow.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't think we did.
That went quick.
We